Hey again, guys. We watch the most terrifying horror flicks around. Today we're talking about classic Sting, a 2024 horror thriller that flips the story of straight-up nightmare fuel. This is not an ordinary crawly creepy story. This will have you twice thinking before you ever kill that spider in your house. Sting by Kia Roche Turner follows a timid but artistic 12-year-old girl named Charlotte as she rescues an odd spider. This is not a pet, however. It grows, it starves, and it turns bad. As the spider's hunger spirals out of control, Charlotte will fight to survive attempting to kill the monster that she inadvertently created in the world. So relax, let's break down Sting, a movie that sets the word home invasion to stomach-churning new levels. Setting the stage, a cold, barren Brooklyn apartment. The film departs us in the middle of a New York blizzard in winter, where, in some rundown old apartment complex that certainly has seen better times. The dirty hallways, the firefly glow of bulbs, and pipe groans against the walls all add up to create an otherworldly ambience that is just the right place for the action soon to be witnessed. We meet Charlotte, our 12-year-old heroine who doesn't quite belong in the story. She's an intelligent but forgotten child who is far better off than cooped up in the house reading comic books and fantasy novels to keep herself entertained. Her social life is rather non-existent, and with Mom Heather perpetually off gallivanting with baby brother Liam, Charlotte is forgotten. Her stepfather Ethan attempts to connect with her, but she repels him. Charlotte's domestic life with her family is strained. She loathes Ethan, who she sees as an intruder pushing out her actual father. And Heather doesn't have time to babysit Charlotte, caring for Liam instead. It is this loneliness that drives her to the supernatural creature she's about to meet. The horrifying encounter, an insidious spider from nowhere. It is a night of bad weather when something strange happens. There's a tremendous bang as something breaks through the window of an empty, vacant flat in the building. The raging storm outside and howling wind cause the whole building to creak. Charlotte, the nosy Parker, rushes into the vacant flat to see what has happened. What she discovers is strange shards of broken glass and misplaced things. And something else. Something tiny. From the wreckage is this tiny spider-like thing from what appears to be this alien cocoon-like material. No spider Charlotte's ever seen. It's formless, like it doesn't fit where they do. It is not the odd shape that is wondrous to her, it's that it's moving like it was staring at her with the same awe she was staring at it. Rather than scaring her, Charlotte is intrigued. It is not a spider to her, but an animal from one of her books, a new species of alien with a fascinating history. She decides there and then that she's going to take it home with her and make a pet of it. She names it Sting. At first, Sting is benign, a little bigger than a coin. Charlotte sneaks it into the bedroom, constructing a temporary enclosure of a shattered glass jar. She stares at it with wide, amazed eyes, offering it small bits of food. The spider is quick-witted, and seems to be reacting to the tone of her voice. Then, however, things start to go wrong. Sting's growth and a hungry appetite. Within days, Sting develops and not the way it is supposed to. It is not like the harmless pet that only grows larger with age. No, it's an unnatural and sudden development. Its legs lengthen, the body swells, and its movements slow and deliberate. Charlotte is frightened but not fearful. She thinks Sting is special, a near-pet superhero, but its hunger increases by multiples each day. It starts with little bugs, then nibbles of food, and then things vanish. Charlotte wakes up in the middle of the night and finds the lid of the jar blown off. Sting is nowhere to be found. She whizzes around the room, thudding furiously in her chest, and she sees it hanging upside down from the lip of the ceiling, its many eyes staring back into the darkness. Though the timing frightens her, Charlotte assures herself that all will be well. Sting is merely acting just like all other normal spiders, isn't she? She does not know that her new cat is about to lead her into a nightmare. From pet to predator, Sting turns monster. The changes initially go unnoticed by Charlotte. Sting, however, continues to grow, even though it's something that she can easily hide, or at least she'd like to. The terrarium where the spider lives is now out of the question. It just won't stay there, causing destruction everywhere in her bedroom, at late hours of the night if someone aside from Charlotte is present. Then, sometime around midnight, Charlotte is startled awake by a strange noise. A wet, slurpy burble. She lies upright in bed with her heart racing. In the dark, she can see Sting, now a basketball-sized ball, bent over something on the floor. Her hamster, Peanut, has vanished, and there's only a trace smudge of blood left behind. Charlotte feels real fear for the first time. She has no idea what she's done, but one thing is certain, Sting is something that she could no longer keep a secret. Despite portents, Charlotte does perform the fatal act she still cannot let go. She rationalizes it because it was an accident, that Sting never intended to kill Peanut. but she knows in her heart of hearts that her pet is turning into a monster. The apartment is a hunting ground. Day by day, it becomes more and more challenging for Charlotte to conceal her secret. Sting, apart from being inside her bedroom, is now clandestine just outside, attempting to find the apartment. Before long, the rest of the residents in the building are curious about what is happening. Pets disappear, a cat and a little dog poof, and nobody has a clue where they were taken. Strangely scurrying noises come from midnight ventilation shafts. Somebody is certain they have glimpsed something enormous crouched behind the back of the stairway. Charlotte tries her best to keep it tidy, but Sting no longer pays attention to her. It's evolving, becoming intelligent, and hungry. And then, at last, the first human victim materializes. An irascible, isolated tenant character by the name of Mr. Gibbons goes missing one evening. At first, everyone is sure he'd split, but someone finally checks it out and finds his apartment door ajar. And what do they discover within? A gaudy web sprinkled all over the ceiling and a gruesome wealth of other material. His dehydrated, creased body hangs in the corner, all life drained from every inch of his body. They call the police and nobody knows. No break-in, nothing except that odd webbing. The neighbors are speculating about rats, but they fully realize something is wrong. Charlotte knows well enough what is wrong. She is frightened out of her mind. Charlotte's breaking point confronting reality. Charlotte tries playing dumb, acting as if she's blind, but that isn't going to work now. When she catches a glimpse of the shadows moving around the apartment building, she feels like something is watching her, and things turn nasty then. Charlotte is startled in the night by a scream, an actual blood-curdling scream down the corridor. Charlotte gets to her door in time to witness Mrs. Langley being dragged off into the shadows, her fingernails scratching against the floor, her screaming face whizzing by Charlotte's before she's dragged out of sight. Charlotte doesn't budge. She can't. She knows what happened to Mrs. Langley. Sting stalks. And for the first time in human history, Charlotte realizes she made a terrible mistake. And if she does not do something about it now, every member of her own family will be on the list next. The final confrontation, Charlotte versus Sting. Fear already established, Charlotte is only now trying to describe it to Ethan. He will not hear her, of course. A giant spider? Ridiculous. And then they all become aware of it. The clawing, scudding sound of some tremendous beast whirling through walls and under air ducts. And then, darkness in the apartment. The lamps go out and break, and the whole building is heavy with darkness. That is, except for the constant clicking sound coming closer. Ethan searches around for a flashlight. The blade of light cuts through the blackness just enough to glimpse Sting in all its grotesque wholeness. Giant spider no longer. Sting is repellent now. Its disgusting body occupies floor-to-ceiling space, its multiple eyes glowing in the dim light. Its monstrous, quivering fangs drip poison as it hangs from the ceiling, eyes fixed on them. Then it attacks. A desperate fight to live. Pandemonium. Ethan wildly swings a fire extinguisher as Sting approaches. Charlotte shrieks, pushing her baby brother into Heather's arms and shrieking at her mother to flee. Sting is faster than that. It's running with madman speed like some monster out of a bad dream, its legs screeching against the walls, dodging furniture, striking with lightning speed. Ethan can deliver some decent hits, bludgeoning with whatever he can find, but there's no means of checking the tide. They have no time. That is when Charlotte recalls something. Sting hates blinding light. They do not have much time to waste, so she takes the flashlight and jams it directly into Sting's cluster of eyes. The creature roars in rage as it thrashes around on the walls, blinded momentarily. It is then that Ethan attacks. He rummages in his toolbox and produces a can of industrial-strength pesticide, spraying it straight into Sting's face. The creature shrieks, its exoskeleton shattering under the chemicals. It writhes in pain, legs kicking wildly. It's not killed though. Injured and enraged, Sting strikes again, its massive fangs burying themselves deep in Ethan's leg. He cries out, falling as the venom spreads through his veins. Charlotte sees this as their only chance. She comprehends the blowtorch in the kitchen that Ethan uses for repairs, flips it on, and holding her breath, she incinerates Sting. The nightmares end. The monster emits a stinky, blood-chilling scream as flames consume its body. It flails around, attempting to escape, but the fire never wavers. Within seconds, or perhaps less, the giant spider is defeated, the charred, smoldering corpse dissolving to ash. It's done. Charlotte dashes to a half-conscious Ethan. The poison acts quickly, but the emergency services barely make it in time. He's rushed to the hospital, struggling for his life. The flat is destroyed. The other occupants, horrified, stand agape at the wreckage in their mouths. No word is spoken. Nobody will ever remember what happened here. Final reflection, a changed Charlotte. Days go by and Charlotte spends them at the bedside of Ethan in the hospital. He's weak but very much with her. Heather, for the first time in forever, enfolds Charlotte in a huge hug, telling her how courageous she'd been, how much she admires her. Charlotte doesn't feel courageous. She feels different. She gazes out the window, her world, because no matter how much she tries to tell herself it's over, something inside of her isn't so sure. The film ends on a foreboding note in a dark, empty corner of the basement apartment, and deep in the back of the shadows, something stirs. Final thoughts. Sting is a creature that features half psychological tension and half good old monster gore. It's not so much about the giant spider, it's about survival, blame, and responsibility. Charlotte's change from spinster child to hard-bitten survivor is adorable, and that finale leaves you but a glimpse of eeriness to make you wonder, what if it isn't finished yet? And that concludes our review of Sting, people. Hope you enjoyed the breakdown. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and post in the comments section below what you guys think of it. And the next time you see a glimpse of the spider just leave it alone. Until next time, be curious and stay on your toes.